let's talk some politics for the holidays. Why not, right? Republican Club folks are going to be here. We have Ro, Kendall, and Pat McCone. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You guys always manage to get some really good folks coming in, and there's no exception for January. You have one of the primary U.S. Senate candidates for California's Senate seat, Dianne Feinstein's former seat, coming in, and you're going to be talking about, it's going to be Denise Gray. Denise Gray, Gary's coming.
Right. Gary Pandol.
Double-barreled.
And she's up on the screen there. We see her.
There we go.
Yep.
My goodness. Now she is very much kind of in line with Republicans' kind of platform, right? She's not off too far, to any one way or the other, right? I looked at a lot of her stuff, and she's kind of like real, kind of like border security, finances in control. That's kind of her campaign. Right?
We're calling her another America First candidate.
Right.
And Paul Vallely, a general who I've met, wonderful man, he put out a piece on her, and he's considering her a constitutional patriot. So she's America First, Michael, but she's also constitutionally sound. I mean, her basics are America First, American people, our foundations, our Constitution.
Yeah, and she has a political science background too, right?
Yes, yes. Now her undergrad, I don't know where she went to school undergrad, but her postgrad, graduate, she went to USC. So she's very intelligent. I have seen her 3 times already and heard her speak. She's well informed, she's educated, articulate.
Now, Ro, how important is it for the candidates to kind of get in front of the folks here at the Village, and the way you guys are able to make that happen?
Well, that's my job.
So it's very important.
It's important that I do my job, yes. And I like to keep it, what's going on, obviously. And people want to know, and we don't always get the best representations on the mainstream media. So this way we can bring them directly and let people see who they are, what they stand for, and meet them in person if they come to our meetings. And I think it's real important.
Yeah, because this is such a large state, and it's so hard to campaign, do the door-to-door kind of thing that you could do in maybe an extreme of Rhode Island or something like that, where you can actually probably get door-to-door and knock on everyone, right? So it takes a lot of advertising, and then you're just getting 30-second and 15-second snippets and things like that. So I think that's the real challenge of any of the candidates on either side of that, to really let people know who they are. So I think that's the neat part about being able to come in here and hear somebody talk for a half hour, 45 minutes, and be able to take questions and that kind of thing too.
That's important. The questions are really telling, and our people do want to know things, and they do speak up. So we're very happy to put them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things that you were talking about, getting around the state, Denise has been around the state almost 2 years. She's been running. And she claims that she's been in every county. That's a huge.
That's an accomplishment.
It is. Yeah. It is. She's determined.
And I think it was like what Nixon said he was going to campaign in every state way back when he went to Alaska. He spent a lot of time in crazy places.
Yeah. Did he accomplish that?
He did, but that was one of the things they said that maybe cost him, because he wasn't it wasn't as focused as he needed to be. He was spreading himself so thin, but it was one of his promises he made, right? So it's like that can be a huge challenge, and for a state like we said, California, Texas, and the larger states, to people to manage to do that and still, you have, it costs money to do that travel and bring your team with you, hotels and all that kind of things. So you're spending, the spend must be grand in California.
One of her issues too, when I've heard her speak, is solutions to our water situation in California.
Right.
Getting
I read about that too.
Desalinization, and that's key. So we just hope we can get a candidate that can represent California, because as goes California, goes the nation. And we want to get our house in order here.
Right, and as we see with Colorado River, it's not this endless, bountiful stream that everybody hoped it would be for the hundreds of years ago when these pacts were made. And the realities are we're not getting as much rain, right? And the farmers up in the Central Valley and they're struggling with their water rights. And so I can see why desal would be one of those. It can't just be conservation. We also have to find new sources out there, right? And that's one of the things she's pledging.
Yes.
Yeah, terrific. So let's talk a little bit about this election. there are three prominent Democrats running.
Yeah.
There are a number of folks on the Republican side running, and the election has to be the top two. In California, we have this crazy system where it's not just the top Democrat and top Republican face off.
Yep.
So are there concerns in the party, on the Republican side for you guys? Like, we don't get a number two in that race because it's so diluted.
It's that's why we're going to work hard to get them made known. People now with our nation the way it is, we conservative Republicans believe that the other side is more radical, and we hope that people will look for common sense solutions to all of our ails that are going on in our country, Michael.
Right. I get that part, but I guess the challenge would be is that how do you have that candidate rise to the top when we have that kind of system set up in a democratic state, obviously, and it usually fosters two Democrats on the ballot for a lot of these races, and that's the real big challenge. I know this goes against what you would value. Anybody should be able to run, but how many talks have there been within the party? Do you think about like, hey, let's consolidate this. Let's let some folks drop out and have that one name so there's an opportunity on there.
Well, perhaps in the presidential election, but in the primary, it looks like the Democrats have three, we have three on our side. I wish we'd consolidate. I wish we could.
That
Honestly,
makes sense. You're running against yourself, really.
Yeah.
So that's not smart.
Yeah, and I know you guys, and so talk a little bit about when and where for our upcoming one that you guys are going to have with the candidate. It's going to be January 5th.
January 5th. The usual Clubhouse 5. And when do we start? You've got it up.
I got it up there. It's going to be at 11. I'll tell you.
11 o'clock.
Michael, it's going to be 11:30 a.m. and it's going to lunch at 12:15.
Yes, very good. I can read.
Yeah. So and what are the opportunities for folks to be able to come from the village, come in and really ask those questions? How long is maybe the Q&A going to be set aside for this one?
Well, she's going to be starting. We open our meeting at 11:30. 11 a.m. to 11:30 is social time. People come early. And we begin our meeting at 11:30, and after the prayer and a pledge of allegiance, we begin. So she'll have about 50 minutes, actually, to be speaking. She's our keynote.
Right.
To speak and to answer questions. So that'll be a good amount of time. And what we have this year, too, we always have a luncheon. So we've opened it up to speaker only. So people who don't want to have lunch or maybe don't want to stay the whole time and only pay $5. So our meetings, we're really fortunate, Michael. We have about 120 to 130 people attend our meetings during the middle of the day, which is really great. So with we have more members. We have almost 300 members, but they don't all come. Of course, a lot of them are just supporting our club. But that's a good amount of numbers. So we're just trying to get out the word, and we send emails, our website.
And there's no reservations required for the $5 audience seats. Yeah.
Right. Members are free, but $5 for a guest and that kind of thing they want to come and see.
No, it's $5 for everyone.
Oh, $5 for everybody. Okay, my mistake. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. It's $5. But if you're having lunch, then it's $30.
There you go.
$30.
And do you ever, when you have these have you ever kind of gone, wow, do you have make discoveries at these events that you don't already know about the candidates, or do you have those wow moments in the past?
I don't know that they're wild, but there are nuances that aren't necessarily obvious until you really dig down in and see what they're about. And they might not be exactly what you thought they were going to be, or they might be more. We just don't know until we have that experience, the kinetic experience of really being with them.
Yes.
And you guys I want to touch on this real quick. We'll come back in January to talk about this, but we also have another candidate coming in February. Tell us just a sneak peek on him.
Yeah. Well, Eric Early, he'll be our candidate for February, and Eric has ran for, I believe it was
Attorney General,
right? And then the 2022. So he's been around a while, and I know he also is America First. He's very impressive. I've heard him.
I looked at his platform too. He's kind of America First down the line. So it'll be interesting to see the nuances, the difference between the candidates.
It's so
right?
true. Yes, and people will make up their minds.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, Ro, I appreciate you guys coming in, and of course, Pat. Well, thank you very much. Always good to have you guys on the program.
Great to be with you again,
and
Michael.
Happy New Year.
Oh, yes, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas to all of our members and villagers.
Too.
Absolutely. We'll have you on in the new year. We'll talk more. It'll be great.
Right.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.